Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. It's called Stop the Internet Podcast. My name is Kelee. I am here in the studio alone today. Don't click off. Stay with me. I have been wanting to do a late night cozy episode. I have a candle lit next to me. It's nighttime. It's peaceful. I am in the mood to talk about dating. So today's episode is going to be a dating advice column. I am a self-proclaimed good advice giver about dating. Good advice giver. I think that is grammatically correct. Not only am I self-proclaimed, but some of my friends have told me that I give good dating advice. So I am here today to read stories and situations that involve dating and give my hot take, give my 2 cents, and it's going to be healthy. It's going to be rooted in communication and valuing yourself and investing in people that actually matter. So if you're interested in that, or if you just love hearing about dating and listening to stories that involve dating and relationships, feel free to stick around. I am alone today, little life update, because it's June, as you guys know. This has been the busiest time of my year so far for my work schedule, and I think it has been pretty busy for my co-host as well. We have tried to plan dates. Everyone was so busy. Trisha was away for 2 weeks. Rebecca's really busy right now. Erin is always busy because she's in school. She has work. She has multiple jobs. A lot is going on. And this is my busy season for work. I'm actually waking up tomorrow at 4:30. Well, I'm leaving my house actually at 4:30. I don't know what time I'm waking up. Between 4 and 4:30, I will be departing to New England for a massive job that I am photographing for the entire weekend. So it is going to be a huge ordeal. But basically, long story short, everyone's super busy this month. So I'm here alone. That's my little life update for everyone. So you'll see another co-host here, hopefully next week. I was going to say next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming where we have 2 people in the studio, but I don't know if that's true, honestly, at this point. I think it will be true. I have some recording times on my calendar, so hopefully we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming next week. I was inspired to talk about dating and relationships and advice this week because I was actually chatting with one of my friends who, unfortunately, is going through a rocky time with a guy that she likes. And I'm not going to totally air her out, but it was basically a situationship where it's like heading toward its end for, lots of different reasons. They're not compatible. But one of the pieces of advice I gave her about moving on, I thought would be very relevant for a lot of people. And I just thought of it in this way for the first time. And the way that I said it out loud, I was like, wait, that's actually a great point. And I'm like tooting my own horn. I'm like, yeah, you really ate with that one. So anyway, here it is. If you are going through a breakup and you're trying to get over someone, whether you actually dated them and you were in a serious relationship, or it's a situationship, or you just casually dated them and it ended for any reason, it's very natural to want to reach out to that person and talk to them and debate your feelings and tell them how you feel, especially if it was non-mutual and they really hurt you or didn't treat you with much respect or just really did a number on you. It's so normal to want to hurt the person back or really show them what they're missing or tell them how much they affected you and how much you cared about them and show them what they could have had if only they wanted to date you. And I have dealt with all these feelings in past relationships and breakups. It's so natural. It's so human. And I feel like it's almost just like a phase of life. Almost everyone will go through this feeling unless you met your person when you were in high school or college and it was your first boyfriend or girlfriend and then you ended up marrying that person and you guys are living happily ever after together. Unless that is the situation, where most of the time it's not. For most people, that is not reality. You will experience a breakup and heartbreak before you find your person. So it is so normal to feel this way. But these feelings that you're feeling right now, hurt, heartbreak, sadness, anger, grief of all different kinds, these are your feelings to deal with. And while they might be about another person and they might be because of another person, they really have nothing to do with that other person. They only have to do with you. And when you are trying to get through a breakup or heartbreak or grief caused by somebody breaking up with you or somebody hurting you from a romantic relationship, when you are trying to get over a romantic relationship, the only person that is responsible for dealing with your feelings is you. And talking to that person and showing them what they're missing and telling them how much it really did affect you and showing them how much they hurt you and all the things you could have done for them, if only they liked you enough to date you, all of that is irrelevant because like I said, while your feelings are caused because of your connection with this person, these feelings are yours. They are affecting your life, and that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. So while it might feel good to envision telling this person just how you feel and really hitting them where it hurts and trying to hurt them the same way that they hurt you, all of that is a waste of time because the truth is, this is not your person. This is a person that maybe you had some sort of connection with. Maybe you had a great connection with them and you're just incompatible in the long run. Or maybe things went south and they aren't a great person and they hurt you and you're trying to deal with it. Regardless of the situation, it is on you to deal with your feelings and work through them and move on in your own life. And I have a metaphor that I was using to explain this to my friend and kind of give her an example of what I meant because it was hard to put it in words at first because it's hard to say, yeah, you feel this way because of this guy, but this guy is completely irrelevant and these feelings are yours, even though it just got confusing, you know? So I basically compared this feeling to how I feel about Taylor Swift, and it doesn't make exact sense. It's not a perfect one-to-one comparison because someone hurting you that you actually had a deep connection with compared to like how you feel about a celebrity is different, but hear me out. I love Taylor Swift. I can't get enough of her. I love her music. I would kill to go to one of her concerts. You know, I love her. These are my feelings. This is all stuff that I deal with in my daily life. I mean, these are positive feelings, which is why it's not a one-to-one comparison, but hear me out. These are all things that I deal with myself on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever, or whenever Taylor Swift comes up. These are things that I feel. And yes, while they are about Taylor Swift and she's the reason that these feelings have formed within me, these feelings have nothing to do with her. This is only my feeling to deal with. It doesn't matter to her whether or not I'm obsessed with her or I just like her a little bit or I hate her new song, but I love that one. Like all of these things, like in the grand scheme of things, it is irrelevant to her, even though they are about her. And I feel like when you're going through a breakup and you're so tempted to want to reach out to them and talk to them and explain yourself and, like I said, hurt them the way they hurt you and really stick it to them and show them, they have broken up with you. You are no longer dating them. They are as relevant to your life as I am to Taylor Swift, which right now that's just about zero. And it's so sad. But imagine I am like, I really need to tell Taylor Swift something. Realistically, you'd be like, well, you can't because she's not a part of your life and what you have to say is kind of irrelevant to her life and you are so disconnected even though maybe you met in the past or had a connection in the past or something, and even though you can't stop thinking about her and you love her so much and she affects your emotions so much, you are so disconnected. You live in different realities and you kind of have to look at your exes in the same way if you genuinely want to get over them. Because once someone has broken up with you, they're done. They're irrelevant. You need to start treating them as if you have no way to contact them, as if you are Taylor Swift and they are someone you've never even heard of. You have to work through your feelings by yourself. You have to own your own feelings and know that there is nothing that you can say to your ex or that they can say to you, honestly, that is going to make you feel better. Other than if they say, oh, I magically want to date you. And that's not going to happen. I'm so sorry. You guys have broken up. You're incompatible. You're not meant to be. The relationship is over. So there is nothing that they can say or that you can say that is truthful and honest that is really going to make much of a difference. And you shouldn't be needing to tell someone else information about you in order for you to get over these feelings or move on with your life. What I mean by that is, if your ex hurt you so bad, if they were mean to you, or if they blew you off and you got sad and you spent weeks or months crying about them, if you really, really need to say that to them in order to move on with your life, that's a whole different problem, because you saying that to them really doesn't change anything. And this is where I feel like my next piece of advice comes in. Whatever you need to say to this person, write it down in a journal. And I've heard a lot of people talking to ChatGPT about breakups and advice and yada, yada, yada. That's great. But right now, you should pull out a pen and a paper, pull out an old notebook out of your childhood closet or whatever. Doesn't have to be this like fancy thing. I say that because I used my old composition notebooks from grade school, like 6th grade, for my journal when I was going through multiple different breakups. And it's so funny because like you open the front cover and it's like my social studies like notes from 5th grade. And then in the back of it is like F him, F everyone. Anyway, they're all destroyed now because I destroy all of my journals and my deepest thoughts after I move on formally from these feelings. But anyway, get a pen and a paper and write a letter to your ex. Write a letter to the person that hurt you, broke up with you, whatever. Write every single feeling down. Let it all out. This is so cathartic. It feels so good to get all of these feelings out onto paper, and you're going to tell them. You're going to write down every single thing they made you feel, because every single feeling you have is valid and it's important and it tells you something about yourself. So you need to write down every single thing. Write down how angry you are at them. Write down all the things you would have done for them if only they could see how amazing you are. And then when you're done, sign it with a heart and pull it out of your notebook and tear it into 1,000 little pieces, shred it up. And just when you think the shreds are small enough, shred it more. And then throw them out into 17 different trash cans so that there's no chance that it could ever be traced back to you. The end is a little dramatic, but you need to write a letter to this person, because the reason that you want to tell this person how you feel is because you want to get it out. You want to express how angry you are. You want to express how hurt you are. But whether or not they know this information about you and your feelings and your deepest parts of your mind is irrelevant. And that's what hurts. And it's really hard to accept that when you're going through this type of breakup or this type of heartbreak. But I can tell you right now, there are so many people. It's like, I'm sorry. This is like tough love, but you know, tough love is still love. That was something that my co-host Trisha said on an early episode of our podcast, and I loved it. I was like, wow, that's amazing advice. Tough love is still love. Whether or not your ex knows how you feel changes absolutely nothing. And it also, there's a big possibility that they don't care. And on top of that, there's a possibility that they're going to think even worse of you if they know these things. Because some people are just not good people. Some people are not compassionate. Some people are not empathetic. And some people are very judgmental. So instead of wanting to pour your heart out to the person that already broke up with you, that already broke your heart, that already told you to your face, I don't want to date you, I don't like you, instead of wasting more time trying to change their mind or trying to show them and really stick it to them and hurt them where they hurt you, use all of that energy on yourself. Turn it around, put it into your journal, and instead of saying, I want to show them how much they're missing, go and show yourself how amazing you are. Go and start doing all those amazing things that you would have done for them to yourself. Go and do it to your best friend. Go and do it to your parents or your aunts and uncles or people that care about you, that actually deserve this positive energy. Because regardless of if your ex is a good person, a bad person, they could be the most amazing person on earth and you're just not compatible with them. Okay, most amazing person on earth, that would be crazy. They could be an incredible person. They could be an amazing friend. They could be driven. They're still not meant for you. And they still looked you in the eye and broke up with you. Or they ghosted you and they disrespected you. So they no longer deserve the energy that you want to spend on them. They don't deserve it because they're irrelevant to you, because they broke up with you. And now they are just some guy or some girl or whatever. They are irrelevant. So take all your energy and spend it more wisely. Spend it on yourself. Spend it on things that actually matter. And keep writing in your journal. Keep getting these feelings out and do not contact them. Do not reach out to them. And I'm a firm believer in this. The only way that you will move on from someone after a breakup is to go no contact. Because if you contact them, every single time you contact them, there is something in the back of your mind that is firing and it's like, oh my God, but wait, what if they change their mind this time? What if they change their mind? What if seeing my name on their phone, like what if they get so excited and they realize they made a mistake? It's irrelevant and they're not your soulmate. Most likely, the person you will end up with won't break up with you. And they won't tell you to your face, hey, I don't think we're meant to be. I wish you the best in life. Or they won't ghost you most of the time. Obviously, there are anecdotal situations where people end up with their soulmate and they're like, hey, we met when we were young and immature and we didn't know left from right and we found our way back to each other. Okay, yes, of course there are situations like that. I would say most mature, healthy relationships don't start like that. Although I will 100% acknowledge that there are many examples of that. But I think there are endless examples of it not working out when the person ghosts and breaks up with you and breadcrumbs you and doesn't give you the time of day and only keeps you around when you're convenient. I would say there's a few examples of the one where it works out, where the situationship or the guy that's playing you, yada, yada, comes back and you guys are soulmates. And there are endless examples of it not working out and then those people moving on and finding their true love after. And it's really hard to accept that in the moment, I know. And I have had breakups and I have had feelings for guys that I was in the trenches and I was like, I can't imagine like not having feelings for this guy, even though they didn't treat me well, or even though, like I said, they looked me in my face and they said, hey, I don't think we're compatible and I wish you the best. Regardless of the circumstances, it's okay to start to move on. And most of the time, when someone ends things with you in any way, the best thing to do is start to move on and do not contact them. Do not reach out to them. They're irrelevant. They become irrelevant to you. One of the reasons why people struggle so much with no contact after a breakup and why they want to remain friends is because when you break up with someone, especially if you were in a relationship with them for a long time, you go from this person is your everything. You think you're going to marry them. You live together maybe. This is your person. This is your everything. And then overnight, it ends, or in one conversation, it ends. They break up with you. That is so incredibly hard to deal with. And the grief is so heavy and it's so painful that you may say, oh, well, we could be friends. We can check in on each other. We can be there for each other, even though we're not going to date. We can still be friends. I firmly believe that the reason that people are scared to do no contact is because after a breakup, your options are no contact. I will never speak to this person or see them ever again in my life. The person that I thought I was going to marry, I will never speak to them again. That is terrifying. And the other option is, well, at least we could be friends. We could be friends, right? I think that the weight of option one, which is I am never going to see them again. They're out of my life completely. This person that I am in love with, that I thought was my soulmate and my everything. I think that that feels so terrifying that it's way too hard to accept it and it's way too scary to accept it in the beginning stages of a breakup. Therefore, people choose option B, which is, well, we can still be friends. I can check in on them. They can check in on me. We can talk every once in a while because at least they're in your life in some capacity and something, aka this friendship that you're trying to create with them, is better than nothing at all. But I don't believe that you will be able to truly heal if you have them as a friend, because I just think that if you go from dating someone and being with them in such a serious way to breaking up to being friends, I think that complicates it so much more. Because what happens when they start dating someone new? What happens when you start dating someone new and your new love interest asks you, oh, who is that person you're texting? Oh, it's my ex. Oh, it's my friend, but it's my ex. we dated for 5 years. It's my ex, but it's my friend. If I was on a date with someone or if I started dating someone and they said that to me, I'd be like, this is a whole can of worms that I don't want to deal with. I think you're not over this person or you wouldn't feel the need to be texting them. I also think every time you talk to this person, it is another stab in the wound. It's another death by 1,000 cuts. Going no contact and not talking to this person again is going to be tremendously difficult. It's going to be so painful. It's going to be so hard and so sad. You're never going to be able to get this off your mind. You're going to be thinking about it 24/7. And it's so difficult. But eventually it will get easier and you won't think about it 24/7. You'll think about it 26. And then days will go by and you will think about it 15/5, whatever. You get my drift. You get my analogy. And then one day you're going to be like, I haven't thought about that in an hour. And then one day you're going to wake up and say, oh my God, I didn't think about it at all yesterday. And then a week is going to go by and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. And then you're going to wake up and then a feeling is going to hit you at a random day, at a random time when you think about them. And you're going to be like, oh, I don't care about them anymore. I actually don't care about them. This is great. And that's healing. That's the healing journey. And you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I felt that strongly about this. And look at me now. Look at how much I have grown. Look at how much I've let go. Look at the weight of stress that has been lifted off of me because I don't have to worry about someone that has broken up with me anymore. And it's such a great feeling when you get over it. And this is especially true if someone had hurt you really bad or treated you terribly and you couldn't get over it or you couldn't imagine not being with them even though they were terrible to you. This is especially true in situations like that. When you meet the person that is right for you, who treats you well and never risks losing you and never breadcrumbs you. They would never think of ghosting you. They give you the same energy you give them. They're excited about you. Your feelings are mutual. When you meet that person, you're going to look back on the ex that did you so dirty and you're going to think, how could I have ever thought that it was them? How could I have ever thought that that was the person that was right for me? That that was the person I was going to walk down the aisle to? And that is such a good feeling. And I love that analogy too for if you're in a relationship or a situationship or you're dating someone and they are treating you terribly. They're ghosting you. They're back and forth. When you're with them, it's great. But when you're not with them, they don't give you the time of day. If you are in a situation, a romantic situation that is not wonderful, where this person isn't treating you great and treating you the way that you want to be treated in a relationship. If you are in a relationship, a romantic relationship, an entanglement of any kind with someone that isn't treating you the way that you want your soulmate to treat you, think about this. Do you want to walk down the aisle to this person? Do you want to walk down the aisle to this person? Because I think about that when I think back to a past guy that I was interested in. He did so many things wrong, but one thing that stands out to me is I saw him texting other girls while he was laying in my bed. I saw him texting other girls while he was laying in my bed. I was like, that can't wait. Is that who you want to walk down the aisle to? Is that who you envision walking down the aisle to? I don't think so. And then when a guy ghosts me and he's texting 75 other girls, and when a guy starts breadcrumbing me and he's always texting another girl, even when he's with me, and he's like back and forth, the energy is up and down. I'm so confused. Is that who I want to walk down the aisle to? Is that what I want to think about when I'm walking down the aisle to my future husband? No, absolutely not. And just the difference in the treatment that you receive and the love that you receive when you find someone that's actually meant for you is just crazy. The comparison is crazy. It's so different. And you're like, it really makes you look back and be like, wow, how could I have ever thought it was them? How could I have ever thought that they were the person that I was going to walk down the aisle to? Because my person that's actually meant for me would never do that. They would never do that. Okay, that was my whole spiel about getting over someone. I love talking about this stuff, and I want to move on to reading some situations. So here we go. This was one that I kind of related to. This person asks, why did I have to meet my twin flame? I met someone 8 months ago who was never supposed to matter. He wasn't supposed to get in. It started casually, no strings, no pressure, but turned into something weird and cosmic. I know how that sounds, but the connection felt like it had roots, like we knew each other before this life started. He's disappeared and reappeared so many times. When he's with me, it's safe, soft, and natural. He curls into me like I'm home. But the moment he leaves, it's like I never existed. He blocks me, ghosts me, makes burner accounts I pretend to not notice, and every time I try to let go, something tiny, a dream, a plane in the sky, a flower on my car hood, reminds me of him and drags me back under. I'm not desperate for attention. I'm not sitting around waiting for a text. I'm deeply aware this is a mess. But I feel like I've been cracked open by this person. And even when I know I deserve more, I can't unfeel the tether. He doesn't say much, but I know he feels it too. I feel it in his silence. I feel it in my chest. Everyone says to walk away. Sometimes I do, but I always end up back here with questions that I don't get answered and the love I can't ungive. What do you do when your heart can't forget someone who keeps disappearing? Am I delusional? Or did I really meet someone whose soul can't meet me at the surface? I am going to answer this as if I'm talking to myself. And so I'm not trying to be mean. And this is going to be tough love, but it's still love. This sounds like a whole bunch of delusion and lies that you are telling yourself to try to justify the terrible treatment that a man is giving to you. This guy is not your soulmate. This guy doesn't have a soul tie to you. The TikTok tarot card readers are lying to you. The signs that you're getting, the flower on your car, the whatever, the bird flying in the sky, those have nothing to do with him. So while those are beautiful things that should be reminding you that you are strong and capable and worthy and valuable and happy in life, those have nothing to do with him. And the fact that you think that they have something to do with him is false hope, and it's delusion, and it's desperation. And I am sorry to tell you this, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the truth is there will be people that you have a connection with in your life, and there will be people that you have insane chemistry with that when you meet them, you just click. You're like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever. You have so much in common. They're attractive. They smell good. You're drawn to them physically, emotionally. They have so many qualities that you want. They're still not your soulmate. I'm so sorry to tell you. And the number one piece of evidence that I have to prove that this is true is that this guy treats you like shit. Is that this guy uses you. He keeps you on the back burner. He keeps you around for when it's convenient for him. He texts you when he's bored, when he doesn't have anything better to do. He uses you for your compassion, for your positive feelings. He uses you to play house when he's bored and whenever he wants it, whenever it's convenient for him. And you fall for it every single time. And then he leaves and he blocks you. He talks to 75 other women. He doesn't give you the time of day. He doesn't treat you well. He does not give you any sort of consistency. The only thing that's consistent is that you can't rely on this guy. The only thing that's consistent is that it's clear that he uses you and then he disappears. And then he comes back when it's convenient and then he disappears. That's the only consistency that he's giving you. Is that what your soulmate would give you? And it sounds like you're a spiritual person. So I want to ask you this. If you believe in twin flames and soulmates and this person, we were fated to be together, destined in the universe and the skies, do you think that the universe would design your soulmate to treat you like this? Do you think the universe, the all-foreseeing creator of everything that controls our fate, our destiny, they said, I'm going to make her soulmate be an absolute imbecile who treats her terribly, who uses her whenever it's convenient for him, and who blocks her every time something new pops up and another hot girl slides into his Hinge DMs? That's what the universe designed for you as your soulmate, as your twin flame? No. You had a connection with this guy. You had chemistry with this guy. That's great. I've had chemistry with 90 million people. Okay, not 90 million, but I've had chemistry with countless people. Am I marrying them? Are they my soulmate? No, they're not. Chemistry is great. Connection is great. You are not going to marry everyone you've had chemistry and a connection with. everyone you've had chemistry and connection with is not going to be your soulmate. Some of them are going to hit harder. Some of them are going to feel deeper. The connection is going to be deeper than other connections you've had in your life. And that's going to trick you into thinking that they're your soulmate. But the evidence to prove they are not is in everything you wrote in your story. This is not your twin flame. This is not your soulmate. You didn't know each other in a past life. And if you did, I'm sorry about that because this guy sucks. And he was probably doing the same thing in the last lifetime. This is not the guy that's meant for you. And you taking everything as a sign is unhealthy and it's delusion. And you are so desperate for a sign that this is going to work out for you. And it's not going to come. I'm sorry. This guy's never going to change. And the cycle that you are in of showing him, hey, you can treat me however you want and I'll take you back every single time, baby. You want to block me. You want to date 97,000 girls and do whatever the hell you want. Treat me like absolute dog shit. But as soon as you text me that you want to come over and hang out, I'll be here for you, babe, because you're my twin flame. That's embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this. But I liked a guy in the past and I thought he was my twin flame. And I fell for the tarot card readers on TikTok that said, he's thinking about you. I can feel it in my soul. This girl said, I can feel it in my chest that he's thinking about me. No, he's not. He's only thinking about you when he's bored on a Friday night at 3 a.m. and he has nothing else to do. But he knows that you're going to answer because you always do. That's not feeling something. That's not a sign that you're meant to be. And the flower that you see on your car hood, if you want to take that as a sign from the universe, sure, it's a sign that life is beautiful. It's a sign that there are things that are valuable in the world and there's beauty all around us. It is not a sign that this guy is your soulmate. Imagine if I said, I saw a flower on my car, so it showed me that Taylor Swift is talking about me and that she and I really are going to be best friends as soon as we meet next week. You'd be like, girl, what the hell? How would that flower relate to Taylor Swift whatsoever? Same thing with this. And also, if you really are spiritual, ask the universe for a sign, ask God for a sign, and say, if I should move on from this guy, show me a white dove or something. And look for the white dove. I bet you're going to see it. I bet you are going to see it immediately. I bet if you ask the universe for a sign that tells you for sure this guy is not your guy and to move on, I bet you're going to see that sign instantaneously because that's happened to me before too. I really liked, actually it was the same guy I'm talking about now. I really liked this guy. I was like, oh, twin flame, tarot card readers were down my throat on TikTok trying to pretend like this guy was my soulmate. He was absolutely not. And I asked the universe for a sign. I said, show me a yellow bird if this is not my guy. And that might sound crazy to you because I live in Southeast Pennsylvania. There is not yellow birds. This is not Hawaii. This is not Australia. There isn't just yellow birds around here that are wild and free, you know? I saw so many goddamn yellow birds the day after I asked. Like, it was insane how the universe literally was giving me, the universe took me like this and was like, slapped me across the face and said, this is not your guy. Move the hell on. And I bet it's going to happen to you if you try it. This is not your person. I'm so sorry to tell you. And I hope that you can move on. And you are going to find someone that is going to make you think, I can't believe I ever thought that was my soulmate. With peace and love. Okay, I'm so sorry. I feel like that was really harsh. Next up, is this love bombing? Why am I cringing? I've been seeing this guy for about a month now. We're both in our late 20s and he's been nothing but a gentleman to me so far. He very quickly began to compliment me in very romantic ways, like, it's easier to see the beauty in life with someone as beautiful as you in it, and very similar compliments. I'm not sure why, but I felt so uncomfortable and kind of cringy when I hear these things. My mom thinks it's because I don't believe I deserve him. He also suggested after the second date, 2 weeks after the first date, because he went on vacation. Okay, so they had 2 dates in like 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks. He also suggested after the second date on a phone call that we delete our dating apps at that time, at the same time, and claimed to have already deleted one of the 2 that he uses after the first time he met me. He sent me a screenshot of the login/sign up screen as proof, but he could have just logged out because why would he still have it on his phone after 2 weeks of deleting it? Yada, yada, yada. Basically, is this love bombing? Is it normal for me to find expressions of affection cringy? I don't think that the sweet nothings like life is more beautiful with you in it, I don't think that's love bombing. I think that's just someone being a hopeless romantic, or not even hopeless, just a romantic. They're trying to be extra sweet and endearing. And if you find that cringy, that's totally fine. Like, that's your style. There's some people that wouldn't find it cringy. Maybe the person that's meant for him wouldn't find it cringy. So it's fine that you find it cringy, that you find like that style of compliment cringy. Who cares? Find it cringy. It doesn't matter. As for the let's delete our dating apps after 2 dates, is it love bombing? I don't know yet. I don't know if it's love bombing, but I think it's something to put a pin in for you, because love bombing has a very specific goal. I believe, from what I know about love bombing, and I'm not a professional therapist, so this is not professional advice, just semi-professional. Just kidding. Love bombing to me is a manipulation tactic. So if someone is just obsessed with you from day one and they give you tons of compliments and love you forever, and then you end up marrying them, that's not necessarily love bombing. That just might be really intense and really emotional from the beginning. Love bombing is more of a manipulation technique that is used to get you hooked on them, so that when they do the little bait and switch, they have you wrapped around their finger and they can then treat you however they want and get away with it because you've taken the bait. They've reeled you in and you're in their tentacles now. So if this guy says all these amazing things to you and says, I want you forever, like it's me and you, baby, and then the next week he ghosts you, maybe we can start calling it love bombing. And then he is back and forth, black and white, and you're so confused, and he's obsessed with you when you're together, but then doesn't text you for 7 days and then does it all again. Maybe that's when it's love bombing. Maybe that's when we look back on this and say, yeah, A plus B equals C, it all checks out. It was love bombing from the start. If he is just giving you compliments, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but just put a pin in it. Take things slow because of that. And every compliment he gives you, take it with a grain of salt. Be realistic and say, it's really sweet that this guy is giving me all these compliments, but let's be realistic. Does he actually know me? He's saying he loves my soul. Does he know my soul? Or is he just saying that as a tactic to get to me? Just think things through and take it with a grain of salt. Now, as for the deleting the dating apps, and you and I should both delete the dating apps together after we've met twice. I find that strange, but outside of the cringy debacle, outside of the love bombing debacle, I find that strange because this guy might just be a hopeless romantic, or he might just be ready to settle down with the next person that gives him the time of day and it happens to be you. I think that's very concerning because that seems like he's trying to control you. Why would a guy want you to delete your dating apps and let's do it together after 2 dates? I think that might be a control tactic, and I would move with caution. I'm not saying it's 100% terrible, weird, don't trust the guy, but I would put a pin in it. And you can be very honest if you're not ready to do that, and you can say to him, hey, I've really been loving getting to know you. Don't say loving. I've really been enjoying getting to know you. I'm not sure I'm ready to delete the dating apps, but I'd love to keep seeing you and see where this goes and see what he says. If he gets angry at you, no, cut it off. No one should be getting angry at you that early for anything, let alone not wanting to delete dating apps after 2 dates. I would tread lightly with this one. But I also think that, and I'm going back to our conversation with Dr. Frankie that we had on the podcast a couple of months ago. Dr. Frankie is a psychologist, dating expert, dating coach. She just has a lot of knowledge about all of these topics. And one of the things she said is, it feels like we live in a reject culture where we just reject people and there's endless options and there's always going to be another one and just reject. There's not endless options. So that's where I think you need to tread lightly. It's possible the guy's just a little quirky. It's possible he's just a little weird. It's possible that maybe this is his first dating app relationship and he doesn't really understand that most people don't act this way. And maybe he will be able to understand you if you explain to him how you feel. Now, all this being said, put your safety first and keep your guard up and keep in mind that this is a stranger and you never know people are capable of, which I hate to say that, but at the same time, sometimes people are just goofy. Sometimes they're weird. Sometimes they're quirky. Sometimes things come off wrong and then you have a conversation and you're like, okay, that makes way more sense now that I see all sides of your argument, now that I understand where you're coming from. I'm still not going to do it, but I understand you now, and I understand that you're not trying to control me and manipulate me. This is more just a little quirky thing. You're in a silly, goofy mood. So I would tread lightly, but I don't think we need to automatically put these like love bombing labels on it just because somebody's giving you a compliment. One more thing about love bombing. I feel that I was love bombed by one person in the past, and the compliments that this person would give me, compliments in air quotes, they were not like this. They weren't like, the world is more beautiful with you in it. Very generic thing to say. Like you could have read that on a Hallmark card, and you could say that to a stranger. Like if you walked up to a stranger on the street, I feel like there's videos of like on TikTok of this, like random acts of kindness where like a stranger will walk up with like a little piece of paper and like hand it to an old person or any person, hand it to someone on the street, and it says, the world is more beautiful with you in it. Like I'm quoting Lizzie McGuire, you shine like the light from the sun. Like, okay, those are sweet nothings. They're just nice to say to people. When I was love bombed and then it was like the bait and switch, it was like specific things about me. Like he would say like, I miss you after like knowing each other for like 2 days. And I'm like, I'm not saying this back. Like, I don't miss you. And like, you don't miss me. Or he would be like, I really like you. And I'm like, we've known each other for 3 minutes. Like, you don't like me because you don't know me. And I would actually say that sometimes. Like when he would say like, I really like you, I'd be like, you don't know me. Like, how could you possibly like me? You could like the idea of me or like getting to know me so far, but you don't actually like me. And it would just be like way more specific things than, I'm trying to think of another example of something else that I was like, there's no way at this point in our like courtship you would genuinely feel that way about me. Oh my God, I really can't think of like another example that just off the top of my head. I'd have to like dig deep into like my memory boxes in my brain. I totally forgot. But it was just things that felt a little more intense than like, you're beautiful. Like if someone said you're beautiful and like your smile is like the sun, it's like, yeah, you can say that to anyone. You can say that to a stranger and it's true. I could say it to you. I could say you are beautiful and it would be true. You could say, I was going to say you could say it to me. Yeah, you could say it to me and it would be true. No, but do you get what I'm saying? Like those aren't things that are like almost shocking or scary. Like calling someone beautiful and then like taking it back, it just isn't that deep. For me, the love bombing, the compliments are just like a little bit deeper and a little bit more intense than like, you're beautiful or you're pretty. Okay. As I can't think of any more examples. I don't know. The person, they would make jokes about marrying me. They would make jokes about like being like jokes being like comments. Like they would make comments about how like we're going to be family one day when we get married, or like we're going to have the same last name, or like something like that after knowing each other for like such a short amount of time. And I did think it was, well, like some of it I thought it was a joke and I was like, oh, that's so funny. Like, but some of it I was like, okay, that's a little much. So anyway, I'll try to keep thinking if I can remember anything else specific. It's funny because that actually leads me to a good point, and I'll close with this, but basically it's even hard for me to remember certain things that guy said to me because he's so irrelevant now and I just don't think about it. And I think this is a piece of hope, or I hope it gives you hope if you're going through a breakup of any kind. There will come a day when this person is so irrelevant that you start to forget about the details of your connection or your courtship or your relationship. And that's okay. And it might feel scary now to be like, oh my God, I'm going to forget this one day. But it's hopeful and it's heartening because you should be thinking, wow, my life will be filled with so much greater joy that these little things are going to seem so trivial and so irrelevant once my life continues on the path that it's meant to be on. And I hope it gives you hope that someone that seems like your whole world or that you're so in love with right now, and that nothing will ever change these feelings for you and you're always going to feel this way. I just hope that, sorry, I know this is not a sentence that I'm saying. I hope that me not even being able to remember the things that this guy said to me shows you that time really does heal. It heals you. It helps you move on. And these people that are taking up so much of your mental energy will become so irrelevant that you can't even remember details about them. And that's such a good thing. Like, isn't that so great? And I know it kind of sounds sad because you're like, wow, I'm really going to forget like this connection that I had with someone. And not necessarily. Like, you can look back on it and be like, yeah, we did have good times together. Like, we really laughed a lot during that dinner, or we like, you know, we had we did this fun activity together. But at the same time, like, these aren't going to be the things that you're focusing on forever. And they're going to become more and more distant as your life gets more full of the love and the happiness that you are meant to come into as you're moving on and letting go of these people that are not meant for you. So that was a lot of words, and I hope that this wasn't too harsh, and I hope that it helps someone who's moving on in a relationship, or from a relationship, I should say. So thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week with another episode. Please subscribe to our podcast. It helps so much. Share this podcast with your friends. Send in your dating situations or things you need advice on. I'm here to talk. I just want to talk all day. So feel free to send me your story via a DM or an email, and maybe I'll read it on the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.